You've seen pictures of all the statues and monuments on the various caminos and probably have seen many of them in person. What's the story behind them? Stay tuned and find out. Perhaps the most famous statue or pilgrim artwork along the Camino is found on the Française route, just about 12 kilometers after Pamplona. Located on the wind farm at Alto de Perdón, it's called the Monumento al Peregrino. The monument is a collaborative effort between the company that installed and maintains the wind turbines in the area and the sculpture group created by Vicente Galbete in 1996. It represents pilgrims from different periods, from the medieval period, whose representatives walk indecisively, looking toward the sky to know which direction to go, to the present day, with two people with backpacks, sure of the route. It depicts history of the Camino, where millions of pilgrims have walked over the centuries. In the center of the town of Lyon, the paths of two caminos cross, the Camino Francés, headed towards Santiago, and the Camino San Salvador, coming from Oviedo. At the crossing of these two caminos, you'll find a large plaza, the Plaza de San Marcos. Located at the edge of the square is the 12th century monastery and hospital for pilgrims, which has been converted to a parador, a modern hotel. In front of the hotel is a large obelisk based on a 3-step pedestal. Seated on the step and leaning up against the obelisk is a statue of an exhausted pilgrim, his shoes off and placed beside his feet, while his toes enjoy the freedom of being shoeless. The expression on the face of the statue is one of exhaustion, finding pleasure in the simple act of sitting down and stopping for a pause. As your journey is near the end on the Camino Francés, you climb up to the modest hill of Monte de Gozo. This is where you will get the first glimpse of the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela's iconic towers. The routes of the Camino del Norte, Camino Francés, and Camino Primitivo join here for the final 5 kilometers to Santiago. At the edge of this mount is the famous statue, Camino Pilgrims. This monument consists of 2 pilgrims who point out the direction to follow to reach the end of the Camino. Created by the sculptor Jose Maria Acuña in 1992, it's always a welcome sight as your Camino nears its end. If you're walking the Camino Francés just before O Cebreiro, you'll encounter perhaps the most challenging climb on this route. The climb to the Alto de San Roque is about 8 miles with an altitude climb of just about 2,000 feet elevation. It's a tough one. In 1993, the Galician sculptor Jose Maria Acuña was commissioned to create a bronze sculpture. It's a pilgrim struggling uphill in driving rain and wind. This sculpture is so appropriate as the weather on this mountain is often cold, windy, and rainy. You may recognize the name of this artist, Jose Maria Acuña, as he's the one who also created the sculpture that you find on Monte de Gozo, that hill just before you get into Santiago. Not all statues are solid. Just outside of Formista on the Camino de Santiago Francés, in the middle of the meseta, is a metal pilgrim silhouette. As you walk along the highway toward Carrion de los Condes, this iconic rendering of a pilgrim silhouette stands out clearly against the clear blue Spanish sky. As if pulled out of the flat sheet of metal, the pilgrim emerges with a staff, a gourd, a scallop shell on his chest, and stars on the cutout. It's a brilliant work of art that really catches your eye and puts a smile on your face in this vast, dry wilderness. In Lalén, two Camino routes intersect, the Via de la Plata and the Camino Invierno. There are two similar-looking statues in Lalén, one placed where the pilgrims enter, the other placed as they are leaving. These fun statues encourage pilgrims to keep going, saying hello and then wishing them buen camino as they leave. The artist who created these wonderful statues is Manuel Garcia Guerra. The work was commissioned in 2019. They're made out of corten steel, which is a type of steel alloy known for its distinctive rust-like appearance and exceptional corrosion resistance. I'm saving the last statue, the best statue in my opinion, for the last. It's my favorite and one that I get a picture of myself with every time I'm in Santiago. It is Las Dos Marias. I have to stop by when I arrive to say hello to my two lady friends. Las Dos Marias, or the two sisters, are Coralia and Marusha Fandinho Ricard. They were both born and raised in Santiago, but never married. Coralia, the younger but taller, was shy and not very talkative, while Marusha, shorter and older, was the wild one who called all the shots. The two sisters became popular characters in the old city of Santiago because of their daily walks through the Zona Vella, or the historic part of the city. This was during the early 1950s through the late 1970s. They would dress up in unusually loud colors, dress coat, hat, gloves, and purse, and would create a spectacle in the historic quarter by flirting with all the young university students. This walk took place every day at 2 o'clock in the afternoon because this was when the students were out on lunch break. This was quite an event because of the contrast between the atmosphere that reigned in Spain during Franco's dictatorship, where dark, somber clothing was the rule of the day. In 1994, the Basque sculptor Cesar Lombera, after 9 years of unsuccessfully proposing to the city council, convinced the mayor to install a sculpture in their memory. This, made by Lombera himself, consisted of a realistic and polychrome reproduction of the two women during their famous walks. The statue is placed at the entrance to the Alameda Park. I just love the spunk, the spirit, and the courage these two women had to go against the order of the day and flaunt their fantastic conviction. So, every time I arrive in Santiago, I head straight to Las Dos Marias to greet them. I've only just barely highlighted the most recognizable statues and monuments on the Camino. There are many, many more. I think this video needs a part 2. If you remember a statue or a monument somewhere along the Camino that you enjoyed, please send me a message of what it is and where it's located. I will include it in the next video. Once again, my pilgrim friends, thank you for watching and helping me with these videos. If you haven't hit the like button, please do so. It helps others find these videos. Are you ready for some music? I'm not going to announce the title or the composer, but here's a clue. It should get you in the mood for your next Camino.